Now I can hear you with both ears.
Yes.
Last time I couldn't hear you at all. Does anybody know how to make the screen bigger on an iPad?
Turn it
Because
sideways.
I don't want it sideways. Then the camera's all off kilter.
Oh,
Nice. No, look, that's good. Don't you're
Yeah,
bigger.
but then I have to look at it like this, and it's
What's
Turn
going
your
on
hair
with your hair
sideways.
right now?
huh?
What's going on with your hair?
We were all thinking it, but only Lonnie could say it.
It's all right. I,
It's good now. Maybe before it's like I don't know what's going on with it, man.
I don't even know what's happening here anymore.
I don't.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 221 of Disney with the Ducks. Tonight, you've got me, John Krull, and I'm joined by 4 other ducks. That brings the whole flock here. That's all 5 of us. That's crazy. This hasn't happened since, I don't even know when.
December.
Before time.
Time
December?
immemorial.
Yeah.
Take
Well,
a
I mean,
picture
definitely
of the
not in
last one.
2026. It hasn't happened in 2026 yet. So,
No.
we made it almost halfway through the year without having to get all 5 of us together. So, I don't know. I'm pretty excited about tonight. Okay, so you've got me, John, and I'm joined by Lonnie,
Hey, everybody.
Jody,
Hello, friends.
Jeff,
Hey, everybody.
and Gene.
What up, all you cool cats?
All right, so we're off to a great start. We got all 5 of us on the phone together at the same time. This is nuts. And tonight we're going to have a lot of fun. But before we get to that fun, we want you to pause this and go out and give us a 5-star review, like our friend James did. James left an amazing review for us the other day. It says, and I'm going to read this because it's important, and we want James to know how much we care. As far as I know, John Krull is not my dad. Well, James, I mean, we can't prove that until we get the DNA results back. But since you're close enough to my age, it would be a little weird.
I see the resemblance, though.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, we're both very good-looking men. So, I mean, hey. And that gives me some grandkids and stuff, too. So, it's awesome. I'm excited. But no, thanks, James, for the review. And we're glad that you gave us 5 stars. And, honestly, I'm glad I'm not your father. I do like you a lot, but, this parenting across the country thing would be difficult.
And
Okay.
just to be honest, do you really need another one, John?
No, I don't. There are so many kids in this house. It's insane. I don't need another one. Right? I mean, I have a wonderful daughter-in-law then too. I have a couple of grandkids. That's adding a lot of people to an already stressed house. So I think we'll hold off on that. But so James, maybe even if you're not my son, we'll look at adoption later in life, and then you can take care of me when I'm in a home. So that'll be fun.
Hey, John.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Math is hard, but if you put 10 kids in a room, there's a 50% chance that you're the father of 5 of them.
That's true.
That is true.
That's true. Yeah. And throw in a couple stepkids. I mean, it's wild.
Yeah.
Lonnie. I can repopulate the earth, I think, just from I'm gonna be like Genghis Khan. 3% of the world is gonna have my DNA at some point. It's gonna be nuts.
Genghis Pearl.
Oh boy. Okay. I mean, as fun as it is to talk about how awesome the world's going to be when my DNA takes over, tonight we've got a really fun topic. So before you listen to that, if you could just go out and give us a 5-star review, just like James did, that'd be awesome. It helps the show. And then if you want to go share an episode with some of your friends and maybe even join our Facebook group, Disney with the Ducks. So you can come over there and have some good discussions, tell us about some of your fun trips, or give us some comments on tonight's show, which is going to be a really fun topic. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to go around. We're going to pick for each of the other ducks. We're going to pick a resort, a restaurant, and a ride that we think describes that duck. And then each of us will kind of vote on who was closest to what we think of ourselves. So I think it's going to be a really fun topic. Let's start with Gene then. And we'll all give our feedback to Gene on what we think he is, because that'll give Gene a little extra time too to come up with to talk to his buddy Claude or ChatGPT to get some answers. So Lonnie, what do you think is a ride that describes Gene?
For a ride, I think it's Rise of the Resistance. That's the best ride for Gene. Let me tell you why. Number one, it's Star Wars. We know Gene loves Star Wars. Number two, let's be honest, it's only working 50% of the time. That's how much time Gene actually joins the podcast. But when it's here, it's money. So I'm going to say Rise of the Resistance, best ride that describes me and Gene. Woo!
Wow. And that's a good, and we know how much Gene loves those ones that go on the magnetic floor moving around, right? Because they never break down.
Oh, yeah.
So they're reliable too, which is a trait I would say Gene is very reliable. So that's a good one, Lonnie. I like that. All right, Jody, what are you thinking of Gene in terms of rides?
See, Lonnie, everyone thinks Rise of the Resistance for Gene. We know he loves Star Wars. We know he loves it when that ride breaks down and he gets to see the backstage. But come on, that's too easy and too obvious. Obvious. So I think my favorite ride with Gene would have to be Flight of Passage, because I have a favorite memory of Gene taking a nap on that ride, but still not even going for that one. So here's what I'm thinking. Gene is an old soul, and he loves the classic Disney movies, like the, Robin Hood and that era. Like he likes the good classics. So for that reason, I think the attraction that best describes Gene is the Swiss Family Treehouse.
Gene doesn't even know what that's at.
Of course I do. Of course I do.
You walked right past it.
So wait, so let me ask you a question, just if you don't mind
No,
me taking a
no.
little
You
detour.
cannot ask. You can't.
No, it's not. It's not. No, it's just a question of
You
y'all. It's got nothing to do with my choices. How many of you have seen Swiss Family Robinson?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I have.
How many of you seen it more than once?
Absolutely.
Okay, I was just wondering. Y'all are, some of y'all are young pups. I didn't know, and it was insinuated that I'm not. So I'm just curious.
No, you enjoy the classics, Gene. We know this about you. You enjoy
Right,
the.
I know. I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And,
that's
but let's call it a quick timeout. We might have to throw a flag on this one, Jody. Is that really a ride?
it's an attraction.
It's an attraction. I
Okay,
said
that's
attraction,
fair.
not rides. So
That's fair.
I'm in the same
Okay.
thing.
I'm making some
Okay.
choices like that too.
Okay, I like
I
it.
think
And I
I
also
won.
like how Jody threw in multiple rides.
Well, I had to
Disney.
be John and cheat a little bit because the obvious answer was right there, and then my personal choice of what I think of Gene every single time I'm in the parks, but that's not the right answer. So I had to go with the one that was describes him best. That was the assignment for the show.
That's fair. All right. Well, now that Jody's named almost every ride in Walt Disney World, Jeff, what do you got for Gene for an attraction?
See, my whole mindset whenever I went into this was thinking of the individual personality of the person and how where the rides and the attractions and everything would tie to that person's personality. So I was kind of leaning real close to Living with the Land for some good reasons, but ultimately I ended up with the Hall of Presidents. And let me preface all of this where I really hope we're all friends whenever we're done with this. So but for Gene, the Hall of Presidents with this, it's because with him on the show, most people don't expect a whole lot when he's coming into it, but it quietly delivers. You're just kind of right there. It's very dry, yet weirdly comforting.
Wow.
And the people who skip it entirely,
Wow.
they're wrong. So I think that's the Hall of Presidents sums up Gene on this one.
Well, I've got some things to change.
Jeff is now Country Bear Jamboree. Oh boy! Wow. Okay. Well. Okay. So.
Just wait, John. You're coming up.
Well, and I'm about to say what I think of Gene here. So you're right, Jody. It was very obvious to go with a Star Wars ride, I think. So I went a different route. So what I picked for Gene was the Jungle Cruise. And I think that, like you said, Gene kind of likes some of the classic things, right? So I was thinking, what are some of the older original rides from Disney World that Gene could possibly be? And then I think of just Gene's personality in general. I think he would be one of the best skippers on that ride because Jeff, you're right. Sometimes some of the humor is just dry and funny and hilarious,
Right.
just like the skippers on that ride. So I think that's what I picked for Gene was the Jungle Cruise.
That's a good one. All
right,
right,
Those
Gene.
are all solid. Those are all solid. So, I mean, it's tough. As Lonnie was describing, all of them have merit. Let me tell you that. I thought Jeff was going to say Hall of Presidents and something about me being the oldest person on the podcast, and they're all old. That's kind of where I thought he was going. I respect your game, Jeff. So respect mine as well, please, as we proceed. All of them have merit. I actually do love Swiss Family Robinson. I actually do love the Jungle Cruise. I have great memories of the first time those rides and the movies associated with them. And I do probably resemble from a purely physical, perspective, The Rock, with Jungle Cruise. But I think Lonnie, I thought he was gonna talk about my body breaking down just like Rise of the Resistance does all the time. If he would have said that, it would have been perfect. But I think that Rise of the Resistance is probably the one that fits me the best. And not just because I love Star Wars, but because, yes, I'm broken and don't work half the time. So,
No, you work all the time, but you don't show up to the podcast.
yeah.
You only show up 50% of the time. It only works 50% of the time. Hey, man, I humbly
both of
accept
those.
the victory
Both
for
of
this one.
those.
LG
Both
takes
of
the
those.
W on this one.
All right. So Lonnie is the big winner of the attraction for Gene. Now let's talk about a restaurant that we think describes Gene. Jeff, what do you got?
All right. For my restaurant, I went with Liberty Tree Tavern. And this is going to come across, Gene, not the way I intended. So just please bear with me as we go through this. It really is with love. It's not flashy, but it's dependable. It's always there. It's the good, solid, quality comfort food. It's
Okay.
all family style. Everybody's welcome and relaxed when we're
Okay.
coming in there. And the people usually don't hype it up as like elite Disney dining, but the people who love it really love it. So it's that kind of fits you to a T.
All right. Solid
Fair.
choice there. All right, Jody, what do you got for a restaurant that describes Gene?
Well, I think, of course, right away, everybody thought Boat Ride at Riverside because it's just obvious, like it's that type of style food. But the thing is, Gene likes to cook and he makes that type of food. And I'm sure his is a lot better. So that can't be the answer. So I'm throwing a curveball here because I was like, Gene likes spicy and could be a little adventurous. And so what's out there? So I went with Haleo because it's a signature dining restaurant with a little twist to the norm, upscale without being stuffy or snotty. It's not just plain old regular steak, chicken, and seafood. It's a little more interesting, and it's got a little spice to it. We know that Gene likes spicy food, so that's what I went with.
Okay. I've never been there,
Also
but it looks
solid.
like a wonderful place. Lonnie, what do you got?
Well, Jody just threw me for a loop because I didn't know we were going and venturing over to Disney Springs. I thought we were staying in the parks. So I can venture over to Disney Springs as well. I can always give, everybody knows Gene and Polite Pig are like this, like boys, they're together. But I'm going to stick with my original answer. And that was ABC Commissary. Why? Because it reminds Gene of the time he was in prison.
All
And you
right.
had to put money on his commissary.
Okay.
I used to
Alright,
put
so
money on that.
let him
Okay.
get a deck of cards and a pack of smokes and a
That's right.
Mediterranean salad. So yeah.
Mhm.
Oh boy. Well, for mine, Jody pooped on it already, so I'm still sticking with it. I'm going with Boat Rides, and I was thinking of it because of the food. Now, I've never eaten there, so I don't know if the quality of the food is very good, but just the variety of food they have, the jambalaya and the ribs and all of brisket and all of that stuff, right? It speaks Gene to me. So I'm picking Boat Rides for Gene.
That was my backup.
See, so great minds do sort of think alike. All right, Gene, who's the big winner?
Jeff, what was yours again?
Liberty Tree
Oh.
Tavern, Gene.
Oh, Liberty Tree Tavern. I'm gonna have to say that it's tough. This is tough. Boat rides. I've eaten there. I don't know if it describes me because it's a little fancier than just who I am. Haleo, I don't know anything about it except for what I just used the interwebs for. Um, ABC would be solid, I think, because it's pretty, just pretty normal fare. But I think Liberty Tree Tavern and Jeff, quiet, unassuming. That's my words, not Jeff's. Solid, nothing frilly or fancy, but it does the job. I think that works for me.
All right. That the way Jeff described it, I think was a really good fit for you then, Gene. So, all right. Okay, so now we're on to resort for Gene. So Jody, why don't you kick us off on what you think is the resort?
Come on. It has to be a Crescent Lake resort, period. It just has to be. It's Gene we're talking about. And Gene loves going to the beach and he loves going to the ocean. That's his favorite vacation. So I got to go with Beach Club.
All right. That I think is by far the best choice, Jody, because that was also my choice. So I'm gonna work on a backup one real quick while Alani.
We can have the same answer. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. That's not fun. Come on, Lonnie, you're gonna have to go next.
Yeah, I think the easy answer would be something around the Crescent Lakes, but we know Gene knows those lakes like the back of his hand. But we're gonna go with something else he likes that I know speaks to him, and that's Pop Century. Why, you may ask? Because Gene loves meeting people on a Skyliner, and when he's lucky, it stops, and then he gets to speak to people more. And Pop Century is really big. There are a lot of rooms, and Gene loves Run Disney, so he can that's the best resort for a Run Disney race as well, because Gene can come right out, and if he forgets his bib, like he's done in the past, he can go from the bus station back to his room and get it and back. And we know Gene, look, the 80s, he stays in that section. The 90s, he stays in that section. It reminds him of home. I mean, I saw him one time trying to ride that big wheel they had out there, right? So Pop Century is Gene's favorite place and speaks to him.
That's a great choice. And honestly, that big wheel is pretty sweet. So I could see somebody riding that. Oh boy.
That
all right,
let's see. Hard to work too.
They all are. Yeah. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right?
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Jeff, what do you got? What resort do you think embodies Gene the most?
To me, the easy one was going to Crescent Lake and just picking one of those. And I just, that felt like I was going cheap on Gene on this one. So I decided to go with my second choice here, and the Port Orleans Riverside. That one, it's got a whole Southern style feel to it, but it's not like cartoonishly like yeehaw kind of Southern. It's just kind of like a Gene Southern. It's got a quiet, laid back kind of energy. It's very welcoming and unpretentious. So, but there's some hidden depth emotionally to the resort. There's just like a lot of love and everything to that resort. And it's really underrated and easy to overlook until you spend time there. And once you do, you just kind of fall in love with it. So we're going with Riverside for Gene.
Great.
Solid.
Well, there goes my second choice for Gene. So I'm gonna go with. We're going back to the reason why I picked. I was going to pick Beach Club to begin with, and that is because Gene, you love the beach, right? So I'm going with Caribbean Beach Resort, and it's better than Beach Club because it's right next to the Riviera, which has amazing food. And some of the Creole food is French inspired, right?
Okay.
So I don't know if Riviera is French, but probably should have looked that up first before I said that. But hey, whatever. It's European, right? At a minimum. But no, I think it's a fun resort. It's on the surface, it's really fun and exciting, and they have a lot of really cool theming and stuff. But I mean, the rooms are awesome. It's a very, it's got some decent food options with Sebastian's there, and even their food court isn't bad. And they have a really cool pool. So, I think it brings a lot of fun, and it's not a high end, fancy place. And I don't see Gene dressing up in like a tuxedo with a monocle. So we're going with a moderate resort. And I think that really, really speaks to me about Gene's, spirit. So yeah, that's what I'm going with.
That's solid. Yeah. So my turn to.
Yeah.
Who's the closest without going over, right?
Yeah.
Jody, without a doubt. I mean, I'd rather be at the beach than anywhere else. And so the beach club makes perfect sense. Do I know the Crescent Lakes? It's been said that I know a little bit about them. I was there, last week, but I think solid choice. All of your choices are solid. I appreciate the effort. Great effort, guys.
It was fun coming up with these.
It
I'm
was.
enjoying this, and it's even more fun talking about them.
I put a
So you know
lot of
what?
work into this today at work. Probably way more than I should have.
Well, hopefully your boss doesn't listen to this.
Tax season is over.
He might though. Yeah. Well, you have time. My boss used to listen to this, but now I have a new boss, so I can talk about all the time I wasted at work all day, and nobody will ever know. So it's great.
Like it.
All right. So next, Jeff, we're going to go to you, and we're going to each talk about what speaks to us about you. What attraction, resort, and restaurant really, really speak to us.
Can I just say I'm glad that you're doing me before everybody else got dealt on, so that way nobody else has time to change.
Oh, don't worry. You'll get some good responses here. All right, Gene, since you haven't been
Yes.
able to tell anybody what your choice is yet, why don't you tell us what your attraction is for Jeff?
Wait, you
Oh
said
yeah.
resort.
So
Oh,
Are we
did I
going-
say resort?
Yes.
Which one did I
you want
say?
resort first? Okay.
Well,
Yeah, let's go resort.
I don't know, but you just said resort. So which one are you
Okay,
going?
let's go resort. We'll go in an opposite order of what we did last time. Okay. So
Okay.
Gene,
Yeah, that sounds
resort
good.
for Jeff.
Yeah, so resort from Jeff, Bay Lake Towers. I feel like Jeff has gotten to a place in his life where he likes the finer things in life. And it's at the contemporary. I think that I don't know if he's as fancy as he thinks he is, but he wants to be. He acts that way. And so that's where I see him at the Bay Lake Towers.
All right. That's a solid choice. That's also where I saw Jeff wear a Michigan shirt very proudly one time. And
Really?
it's
It
still
was
one
for
of my
Mickey.
favorite pictures.
It was for Mickey Mouse, John, not Michigan.
Yeah, because Mickey does wear giant block M's that are in blue outlined in maize. So yeah, I could see that.
Maze, is that yellow?
Yeah. It's a better version of yellow.
Okay.
All right. So I am gonna go next. Because I'm just gonna go around the screen. I'm gonna pick the Red Roof Inn for Jeff. I think it's a little stinky, cheap.
Yeah, by the hour.
Oh no. Okay, so I picked the Boardwalk for Jeff. I think it's practical. It's in a great location. It's reliable, and it's a little bit weird. Honestly, it's a little strange, but overall, it's a solid option. It's always fun to hang out there. It's always, like I said, it's reliable. It's always there for you, and I kind of feel that way about Jeff, right? Like he's a little bit weird sometimes, but we all love him, right? Well, at least some of us do. I'm not going to name names, but no, I think it's one of those resorts that it gets kind of overlooked sometimes, but it's a really solid choice. It's a great place to stay. You can walk all kind of different places, so there's a wide variety of things to do there. And I don't know, something about that resort spoke to me and said, "This is Jeff if he was in resort form." So I'm going with that. Lonnie, what do you got for Jeff?
Yeah, for Jeff, I got Copper Creek. And the reason why is because, look, hey, it's a beautiful resort. Jeff is a handsome man. It's, the food options are really good there as well. And he kind of fancies himself as a seaman. So he could get on the boat and go over to Magic Kingdom if he wants from there, right? I saw him get on there one time and look at the person and said, "Look at me, I'm the captain now," right? So with that being said, you can't help beat it. And then guess what? It also has concierge too there. So sometimes Jeff is fancy and he wants to get fancy, he can do concierge, right? So when I think of a really good resort and I think of a bison burger, I think of Jeff and I think about Copper Creek.
Interesting. That's a good choice.
In the whole seaman thing too.
Right. Yeah. Obviously the seaman part. Oh boy. All right. Jody, where do we go from here?
Okay, so if you would have asked me this question when I first met Jeff a couple of years ago, my answer would have been incredibly different than what it is now. So for the rest of you three gentlemen, my question to you is, how many of you have worn a tux in the last year?
No.
Yeah. Gene, you have once?
Once.
Lonnie,
Well, my
have you
son
worn?
got married. I had to. It wasn't really a tux, really. It was a suit. It was really like a formal suit. It wasn't a
Okay,
tux.
so Mr. Fancy Pants, Jeff down there, has been
Right.
wearing tux lately. He has really elevated his game. He has moved to the finer things in life. He's appreciated the finer things in life. He's going to all these galas and all these events, and he's really beginning to embrace this love of fancy schmancy, right? So for that reason,
Hmm.
I am choosing the Grand Floridian because Jeff has begun to learn to appreciate the finer things in life. And it's a close walking distance to the Magic Kingdom. So Grand Flo it is.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
I did
Well, we
not
know Jeff
expect you
doesn't
to go
like
there.
walk, so yeah.
All right. Well, Jeff, who do you think is the big winner?
I'm a big fan of Copper Creek. I'm not sure really how I fit as a seaman, but but the Copper Creek is a good one there. John, as much as it pains me, I'm going to give you the win here.
Because of the Red Roof Inn?
What?
It was the Tally Hotel, pay by the hour kind of deal.
Right.
Yeah, we're going with the Red Roof Inn. The boardwalk is one of my go-tos. I love staying there, and it just does really speak to me as how I am as a person too. Well, you guys aren't wrong. My life has changed substantially in the last few years, doing things I never thought that I would ever do or experience. But the boardwalk just seems to call like the home style to it. It still has a little bit of the excitement of wildness because it's on Crescent Lake and it's a nicer hotel, but I think that's the one where I'm most comfortable.
Nice. Well, you picked a great person to have picked the resort that represented you.
It hurt a lot.
I'm sure it did, but it hurt in a good way. So, oh boy. All right. So, restaurant for Jeff. Let's see, Lonnie. What are you picking for a restaurant for Jeff?
Well, kind of piggyback off of what Jody said, and I chose Le Cellier for Jeff. Why? Because Jeff, hey, look, we know that he is a man of the finer things. He's the most interesting man in on the Ducks, right? So with that being said, nothing beats that like a good steak. And when I think of Jeff, I think of French, I think of fancy, and I think of steak. So yeah, that's what I got for Jeff.
All right, solid choice. I've never been there, but I've heard it's great.
Jeff has.
Yeah. Eventually, when I'm not having 37 kids with me, I'll go to a nice steakhouse at Disney. But this year,
Well, you have to work on that one, sir. Sir, only you can control forest fires.
That's true. All right, Jody, what do you got for a restaurant?
I had the exact same answer. I said steak, potatoes. That's all Jeff needs. Nothing too adventurous, but kind of bougie. But let's be honest, it's really just in a cave. Le Cellier, what I had. So I was like, that was the perfect restaurant for Jeff. But now you already took that. So I guess I'm going to switch it to Yachtsman because there's another steak restaurant that's kind of around there. So, but Le Cellier was my first choice, but Lonnie already picked it. So I guess I'm going to Yachtsman.
Interesting. Okay. The Yachtsman. Well, I mean, Lonnie already put him on a boat because we know Jeff's a seaman already. So we might as well go to the Yachtsman.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Gene, what are you thinking for a restaurant that represents Jeff?
Again, Jeff wants to be fancy. And I've never been there. I don't know how fancy it is, but he talks about it all the time. Every time anybody's going to Disney World, he says, "Oh, go see blah 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 at Wine Bar George because it's one. It's fancy, And so that's the one it's going to be, huh?
His name is George. George at Wine Bar George. His name is George.
What did
No,
Gene say?
there's a waiter. There's a waiter or somebody there that you talk about, right? It's not George.
Yeah, one of our
that
friends.
George, Gene.
Huh?
That would
We
be
have a
George.
friend that's a waitress there.
Well, then that's just the waitress George or waiter George doesn't own Wine Bar George. It's just a coincidence. And how am I supposed to remember that? Oh, Wine Bar George. I mean, come on, look.
Judy, are you going to tell him or am I?
I'm not going to tell him.
The owner is George. That's why it's named.
Well, of course it is, but that's not the person that waits on your table, right?
Yeah,
Well,
he comes
Could be. Sometimes.
to the table with your food and times too, but it's okay.
I mean, how often? Really? See, y'all are gonna. You think that's funny? You're gonna make fun of me for that? How often does that happen at a Disney, you know, restaurant? Is the owner gonna come to your table? I mean, really? Come on.
Well, Mickey comes out.
That's silly. Well, that's
Walt's
different.
Frozen Head has delivered my margarita before, so
Mhm.
you know. Oh boy.
I mean, Mr. Pig
All right.
doesn't come out and wait on your table at the Polite Pig, okay?
No, I just eat them.
Oh goodness
Oh boy.
gracious.
Okay.
This is why I don't get on this podcast.
Because you're getting bullied by Lonnie.
It's
terrible.
Bullied because I'm not the right kind of nerd. That's what it is.
Oh boy. All right. I am going to pick 50s Primetime Cafe because it's old school, it's comfort food. They do have a really good meatloaf, and I know, you know, Jeff, like we've talked about, loves meat and potatoes. They have that. You can get it there. But they also have a little bit of variety. So, you know, like on the surface, you might look at Jeff and be like, all that guy does is eat meat and potatoes. But I think he's going to explore a little bit more here in life. And I like that last time I was there, one of the servers fed me. So, and I feel like that would be great if that was Jeff. You're just kind of doing the airplane thing with my vegetables.
Was it the owner?
Was what?
Was it the owner?
It probably was. Yeah. Yeah.
I bet it wasn't.
I don't know. I think it was. It might have been. But I also got yelled at for having my elbows on the table. I don't know what that has to do with it. But I do think that restaurant, for that reason, kind of spoke to me about Jeff. It's a little quirky and weird, which seems to be a theme with me picking things for Jeff. But that's what I'm going with, and that's why. All right, Jeff. Now you got to pick a winner.
Is this like Whose Line Is It Anyway, where the rules are made up and the points really don't matter?
Basically, yeah. Much like
Always
everything on
like
the show.
Okay. So in that case, I'm going to award half a point each to Lonnie and Jody. Le Cellier is kind of like my go-to. It appears like it's a little bit upscale. You pay upscale for it. But at the end of the day, it's a meat and potato and mac and cheese. It is one of my favorite restaurants on property. It is where Kim and I go during Wine and Dine every year for our anniversary. Although a couple years ago, the doctor at the medical tent tried to take her there instead of me. But that's a different story for a different time. But I will award half a point each to Lonnie and Jody for that one.
Okay. I see we're just full on cheating now. That's great. All right.
Mhm.
But now we're going to kick off with an attraction. And so, Gene, why don't you tell us what attraction you think, personifies Jeff?
Well, so I had actually chosen this before it was thrown out there, but definitely the Country Bear musical, without a doubt. Just because it's a little creepy, but you still want to hug it, just like you do with Jeff.
That is perfect. I think we just have to stop now. There's no point in the rest of us even going. Oh,
Yeah, I think Gene won that one.
I'm crying and laughing so hard. All right.
I mean, I could go on. I mean, the motions are a little stiff, you know, but you still love them anyway.
All right. Perfect. Gene, that is the perfect response, I think. Jody, I don't know how you're going to follow that one up, but good luck.
I can't. Okay, well, well, I didn't pick Country Bears Jamboree, but okay. So I truly think that Jeff is the most knowledgeable on the dark side of Disney history. He really knows his Disney trivia and history. He was the only one of us who was there for the big anniversary celebration. Like he really is. He knows his stuff to the point. Like I was really thankful he was on my trivia group for the Lizard trivia a couple of years ago, because we would have failed without him because he knew all the answers. So I was thinking like a classic true Disney ride, because that's something that's deep embedded in the Disney lore. And I decided Pirates, because it's got such a good story behind it, and so I thought that's what I thought about. So that was my answer. Not nearly as entertaining as me. Oh God!
I told you he was. That's what you thought about when you thought about his ride. Perfect.
Oh boy. All right. Lonnie, what do you got for an attraction for Jeff?
Yeah, man, for me, I mean, look, when I think of Jeff, I think of people mover, right? I think, Jeff doesn't want to run around the parks. He want to sit there and you could get up there, you can stretch your calves till you get up there. And once you're sitting there, it brings you around all the park. Jeff can see everything without having to actually walk around. So I like, people mover for Jeff. There you go.
Man. So that was going to be my choice too. So now
Well, you should have went first, sir.
I'm trying to pivot quickly to something else. So you know what? I'm going to go with the monorail because it again, it kind of smells a little bit, but it's old and it's a little crackly and stuff, but it gets the job done, right? Like it's dependable. It's going to get you around where you need to go. And I guess that's Jeff. And that's kind of why I was picking the people mover too, because of what you said, Lonnie. Like, he just wants to sit there and see things, right? Mm-hmm. So the monorail lets you do that, but it also gets you from place to place and lets you try out some things at all the different resorts and everything. So I'm going to go with monorail.
All right.
That was... What do you think, Jeff?
I appreciate all the love that I'm getting tonight. It just makes me happy. I truly do. I'm gonna have to award a point to Gene on this one. The Country Bears, because I'm a little creepy and I could always go for a big hug. So we'll take that.
Oh, it was the best. I needed that.
I was not ready for that one, Gene. You delivered here.
Oh man,
I try. I mean. As someone said in the beginning, you're not expecting much with me, but
when it hits, it hits.
But it hits, yeah.
All right. Well, now we're going to move on to Jody. And I think with Jody, the only place to start really is the restaurant. We know how much Jody loves food. So, Jeff, what do you think? What restaurant represents Jody?
For the restaurant, I went back and forth between two here. One of them was Garden Grill, but the more I thought about it, I kind of went to the 50s Primetime Cafe. Jody is the motherly person of our group that just kind of keeps us in line, keeps us on track, making sure we're doing what we're supposed to do. It's not easy. She has to yell at us sometimes, probably more than what she does. But she's just, you're not like the nagging kind of mom, like the old sitcoms, but you're just like the mom that kind of delivers to make sure everything gets happened the way, like kind of like the trying to think of a good sitcom mom, but I can't pull one off the top of my head. But that 50s Primetime just kind of it's that sort of environment for Jody for us. So
solid choice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Gene, what do you got?
I have, so when I think of Jody and food, I think of healthy food, salad, quinoa, sprouts, meatless Monday. And what better personifies that than, to me, in my mind, than the California Grill? So that's what I'm going with it. It's healthy, but it's still pretty good.
Okay. That's Gene. I'm going to tell you that's an excellent choice because that was one of the two I was torn between. And I ended up going with Toledo, the restaurant on top of the tower at the Gran Destino Tower at Coronado Springs.
You're saying that like I don't know that already.
Well, I'm just for our listener, just so
Okay.
She knows, right, that where this place is at. So, but no, I think Toledo for similar reasons, right? I think it's got a great wine selection, which we know Jody likes that. The food is amazing there. It's great views from of the property, but it's not as popular as the California Grill. And I think that's kind of part of the allure of it, right? It's like another place that's newer and I think better. But I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, I think it's exciting and fun. And I think that's what Jody brings to our show. So I went with Toledo. All right, Lonnie, what do you got?
Yeah, I went with Geo 82. Why? Because that's the year she was born. Second, Jody likes to sit up and look down on the common folk that are going through Epcot. And there are some really good food options there as well. It's healthy, and there's some adult beverages that I know for a fact Jody likes. So so yeah, I think Geo82 is for Jody B.
All right.
Good choices, my friends. Jeff, that was interesting. I liked your theory behind that. I would have never thought that, but that was a good way to go with it. But I actually think, John, I'm going to go with yours because I'm not I don't need to be the most popular girl in the room, but I like what you were saying there. So I'm going to go with Toledo. Yeah.
Awesome.
And the
You
wine
picked
list. I made the wine list.
Right. It's so good. And the waitresses there are so knowledgeable too, which I think you are as well. So I think it's just a great choice.
You
And
already
it's just a
won.
wonderful-
You don't have to sugar me up. You already won.
I know.
He's trying for the next one though. He's trying to get for the next one.
Right.
I've got to.
You gotta lay down a foundation of compliments so I get picked again. All right. So next we're gonna move on to the resort. So Lonnie, what are you picking for a resort for Jody?
I think it goes. I mean, I think everybody knows, right? When you think about a resort in Jody B, you're thinking about the Riviera. Why? Because it's first things first. It's one of the newer resorts, right? So hey, it's top technology. The rooms are awesome. On top of that, you get access to 2 parks. They got the Skyliner right there. I know Jody loves to ride the Skyliner, and also I know she loves the restaurant there, right? So with that being said, and I know it's a home resort, so she considers it home anyway. So for that reason, I am going with the Riviera.
Excellent choice. And you weren't the only one that had that as your first pick. So I'm gonna try to figure something else out here while Jeff tells us what he picked for Jody.
All right, for Jody on this one, I thought about the Riviera too. I know that's one of her love resorts for sure, but I went the other way and kind of stepped in the same vein that I was for my restaurant. I went with Wilderness Lodge. It feels like it's a warm, nurturing, comforting hotel, but it's not boring. It's like the vibe there is fantastic. It's cozy, it's grounded, but it's got a calm, fun energy to it. It's a resort equivalent to where everybody comes sit down. I have snacks and I have extra phone chargers. And that's how Jody is. I mean, the first time we met Jody, she brought us a bag of cookies that she had decorated up. So it's just how she is with that kind of stuff. It's not flashy, it's not chaotic, but it's just warm and it's there, and it's got the big hug around you kind of deal for it.
Solid choice. All right, Gene, what about you? What are you picking for Jody?
Yeah, so Jody's not necessarily she's not like frilly and fancy, but and this resort may make you think of that, but I just think that Jody, being who she is, she deserves the very best. And so to me, in my mind, the best and the nicest is the Grand Floridian, and that's Jody right there for me.
Good choice. All right, so I was going to pick the same resort that Lonnie picked, the Riviera, for similar reasons. And then I was kind of considering All-Star Sports, but Jody, I know you're athletic and your family is all into sports and athletic, but I can't pick a value resort for you. I can't do it. So where I'm going to pick for Jody, I already forgot what I was going to say. As I was explaining why I didn't pick All-Star Sports. Okay, so I'm going to go with the Grand Destino Tower at Coronado Springs, because I know you love Three Bridges and they have one of the best burgers on property. I already explained why I was picking Toledo for you, and I think of Grand Destino Tower as it takes on it fits very well with Toledo. They have the Dahlia Bar, which is awesome. They have great drinks, cool views of property. It's high end, but not over the top high end, and that's how I kind of view Jody, right? Is you like the finer things in life, but you don't have to be rolling around in a tuxedo and a limousine all the time with Tim wearing a monocle, right? So I'm gonna go with Grand Destino Tower.
Thank you for not picking All-Star Sports.
You're welcome. Well, yeah, and I was like, that's not a great. You don't want to pick the cheapest hotel for anybody other than Jeff. So
Right.
All right, good choices here. I do love the Riviera. It's my home resort. I love it. It's everything about it is my love. But for Jeff's reason, I do like the warm, comforting, cozy. So I'm gonna pick Jeff's Wilderness Lodge. Good choice. Good choice. All tough. Those are tough ones though. I would be perfectly happy at any of them.
And that is really a great resort. It's super nice, especially at the holidays. Oh man. All right. So we're on to the last one, is picking an attraction that you think represents Jody the best. So let's see. I don't even know who went first the last couple times, but Gene, let's start with you.
You get easy one. Not Rock and Roller Coaster with Aerosmith, but the new Rock and Roller Coaster with the Muppets. All day long, every day for Jody.
Nice, solid choice.
I don't even need to give a reason.
No, that's enough of a reason. It's Muppets. Lonnie, what about you? What'd you pick for Jody?
Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind. Why? Because Jody conquers that ride every time she goes to the park. She's collecting all the songs. She's doing her thing. She gathers the ducks to make sure we get on that ride. And she can ride it multiple times in a row, unlike me.
Some people.
And yeah, when I ride it one time, after the second time, it's a wrap for me. So she actually can take it. So boom, Guardians.
All right. Good choice. So I'm the only one I think left. I'm going to go with Teacups. Oh, Jeff hasn't picked yet, but that's fine. I'm gonna pick Teacups for Jody, and I think because Teacups are classy and tea is kind of a higher end thing, but again, it's kind of bringing it down to a fun level, and you can enjoy it and have a good time with it too, while still being fancy and putting your pinky up. So I'm gonna go with Teacups. All right, Jeff, what do you got?
I am going with Living in with the Land. If Muppet Vision 3D was still open, I would have went there, but since it's closed, I took that one off the table. And I'm going with Living with the Land. It's a healthy, conscious caretaker vibe to it, which describes Jody to a T. It's calm, it's educational, it's nurturing, it's sustainable. And everybody leaves off the ride with a little bit more knowledge and feeling a little bit better about themselves than when they got onto it. And it's a good nap sometimes.
Okay. All right. So Jody, what do you think?
Okay, those are all great. I love your reasons why. Oh, it's between Guardians and Muppets, but I can't betray my Muppets, so I got to go with Gene's with the Muppets. I mean, it's my heart. So that's what won. Good job, guys. Those were tough. That's harder than you think it is.
It is, but it was fun coming up with all these.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I think I noticed a pattern though, because Gene and I both got ripped apart as humans, but Jody was all about how wonderful she is.
I know, right? It's not even fair. Yeah, I think we have Lonnie coming up, so it'll be all right.
We'll revert back for the last two. That's why we put Jody in the middle. It's like one of the bad sandwiches.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The meat is the good part. It goes in the middle, and then you got the buns are just there for filler, right? I'm not sure where I was going with that, but
Me neither.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about Lonnie a little bit here. All right, so we're going to start off with Lonnie, and we're going to talk about what restaurant we think best describes Lonnie. So, Jody, do you want to kick us off on this one?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I had like 25 answers for this, but then I kept thinking the challenge isn't what Lonnie likes. It's what we think best describes Lonnie. So like what Lonnie likes would have been fish and chips, right? We all know that. Or Homecoming or Play Pig. Those are the easy answers. But does that describe Lonnie? No, he's more refined than that. And he has all these world travels. You know, he's in Japan, and then he's in Alaska, and then he's in Hawaii, and he's all over the place. So because of his you know, he's a little fancy without being stuffy, but a little more interesting than just, your plain fare. I'm going to go with Tiffin's. Pulling a wild card. I'm going to go with Tiffin's.
Ooh. That is, I think, a way underrated choice. That's crazy. That's a good one.
I know. That was a tough one.
All right. Jeff.
Then I cheated John. I named 3 restaurants before that.
That's okay. That's okay. I think we've named almost every restaurant at Disney at this point. But all right, Jeff, what do you got for Lonnie?
Lonnie, of the 3 of you, or of the 4 of you, was the hardest one for me, because there's things that Lonnie likes, but it doesn't describe Lonnie as who he is. And I really struggled with that. And like Jody, I was thinking about Lonnie in Japan and Alaska and Hawaii and Puerto Rico and all that. And the first thing I went to was would be the Food and Wine Festival, because we just get like a little piece of it all the way around. So I think that's where I'm going to end up. It's not necessarily a restaurant, but Lonnie just is the full experience of everything. You get a little bit of all the different cultures and the ideas and everything all dragged into one for Lonnie. So he is the Food and Wine Festival.
I didn't know I could pick that.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick all of Disney because it's. What?
Hey, let him cook.
I like the rationale though behind it, Jeff.
I do too. That was good thinking. That's what I was
definitely
trying to get to with Tiffin's answer, and like you just picked the whole wine festival.
All right, Gene. There's probably a lot of pressure on you here. You've known Lonnie
not really.
longest?
Not really. So, have I?
No, I don't know.
I didn't
maybe.
realize it. I didn't realize it. When I think about Lonnie, I think about, he's kind of always there, always in the back. You don't necessarily want to notice, but there he is. And sometimes even makes you sick. And so I'm going to go with the popcorn stands at Epcot, because every time you turn a corner, there is this beckoning to you, sort of like Lonnie calling and saying, "Hey, you going to sign up for this race? Hey, you going to do this race? You going to run this stupid, this with me?" And then sometimes, like with the popcorn that Lonnie claims got him sick, Lonnie, has gotten me sick before, rooming with him at a race. And so I think it perfectly embodies who Lonnie is.
Wow. Well, your description of it, it fits, I guess, right? It's a good choice. Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna so this was my problem, is this one restaurant I have used for two people. And similar reasons too. I think I'm gonna go with Toledo for Lonnie, because the first thing that stuck in my mind was the Sangria University. Like, you talked about that. It sounds like you really enjoyed it. But I think, when you guys go to Puerto Rico and you like some of the Spanish flavors and stuff, and you like good food, but also I see you as liking nicer restaurants, but I don't see you being as like a Victoria and Albert's kind of person. So I'm gonna go with Toledo for you.
Man, I tell you, all great choices. Great choices. Even Gene with his popcorn analogy. That is a good one. However, I'm gonna have to go with Jeff on that one, because there's a little bit of flavors of everywhere, and I can just go here, there, all around Epcot. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Jeff.
So Jeff proves cheaters do win, I guess.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Good job.
True.
Jeff.
Ricky Bobby did say that, and he's correct. All right.
I was high when I said that. That's what his dad said. Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to move on to attraction. So an attraction that we think describes Lonnie. Let's see. Gene, why don't you go first on this one?
So when I think, about attractions that would describe Lonnie, I think about things that hurt you, that you think are maybe good, but they just hurt you, and over and over and over again. And it's really not relevant anymore. And, maybe Lonnie was relevant at one time. I don't know. But it just makes me think of Dinosaur, because it jerks you around. Your neck hurts for 3 days after riding it. Not even a thing anymore. It all fits.
R.I.P. Dinosaur. Oh man. All right.
Best ride ever.
Jeff.
I went with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. It's just fun chaos. It's just the whole time you're kind of just smiling through the process. There's a lot of friendly energy to it. Random surprises everywhere you look with Lonnie. You have a picture that you're taking with people. Next thing you know, you're looking back through your picture and Lonnie's there. You just never know what's going to happen. It just feels like the ride itself is happy that you showed up. So somebody just shows up to see Lonnie and he's just happy. And I think that's Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway just gives you that same vibe.
All right. Good choice. Jody, what do you got?
All right, so I was thinking kind of same length you were, Jeff, but Lonnie and photobombing, right? So Lonnie is in so many backgrounds of people's pictures and stuff. So where could you actually photobomb someone during a live performance other than Monsters Inc. Laugh For? So let's just hope that the guy in front of him is right, or maybe even better yet, Lonnie is that guy, and he gets to be on camera because we know that's where Lonnie shines. He likes to be either right behind the person on camera or on the camera himself. So Monsters Inc. Laugh For, and it's a fun show and it makes you smile, and Lonnie makes us all smile.
Interesting. All right. I'm gonna go with Spaceship Earth because Lonnie likes to photobomb people, and the Epcot Geosphere photobombs any picture you take in Epcot. So I think that, along with the fact that it's very the history of communication, and I think Lonnie likes to talk to a lot of people. Because every race I run with Lonnie, you run by people every half mile. There's another person that randomly he's like, oh yeah, I met them 27 years ago at Disneyland Paris or out on a run in California. So I'm going to go with Spaceship Earth for Lonnie.
Now you guys make this hard. Love Mickey and Minnie's. I could see that. Jeff was great on it. Jody, love your explanation as well. But you always hurt the ones you love. So Gene got me with my heartstrings with dinosaurs. So best ride ever. Gene, you win that one.
I thought we were talking about something that hurt. I thought you were going to talk about A Bug's Life with the little stings at the end.
The stingers, yeah. Even though Gene kind of cheated, he took a ride that's not there anymore. That makes me sad. The rest of this getting the show, but hey.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Gene with the win there. Dinosaur was a good ride.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ride ever. My chiropractor loved it. So
I'm sure
I come home, it needs to be worked on for 6 months to get back to normal. All right, so we're down to the last one for Lonnie. It's a resort. So I picked French Quarter for Lonnie. I feel like the New Orleans connection, there's a lot of like fun jazz music in the pool. There's like the gator playing the trumpet and stuff. I think the whole resort just like speaks Lonnie to me. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. Jody, what do you got?
Well, this one was tough. We all know Lonnie loves his home resort, Animal Kingdom Lodge. He loves it there. And then I thought, well, maybe Saratoga because he's really close to the springs, and Lonnie loves the springs because it's close to Polite Pig. Mm-hmm. But I actually settled on the boardwalk because I know Lonnie likes staying there, and there's a lot of fun in the evenings. And you can walk out and get to Epcot or head over to Hollywood Studios. Kind of likes the vibe there. So I settled on boardwalk. It was a tough one.
Good choice. Jeff, what about you?
I was thinking the same thing with Animal Kingdom. Then I remember Kidani Village has the 3 mile long walk, and Lonnie was not a big fan of that. So I kind of pivoted away from there, and I ended up with Pop Century. I know he loves Pop Century. It's a very high energy, social, approachable resort. Everybody loves it. I haven't heard anybody who has ever stayed at Pop Century that has not loved that resort. There's just constant movement and activity going on there. It's happy almost all the time. It's very functional and operational. So I think Pop Century describes a lot. I hate that it's value because I don't want to try to detract your worth by a value resort, but
no, it's okay. I can be frugal. And, I guess we have to see what Gene says. Well, what chat says, because Gene's been on his phone the whole time. You can see the picture of the phone. He's been chatting away.
Do you know that I have not used ChatGPT once yet? This podcast, I haven't. This is all me.
Wow. Are you using Claude instead? Is that what?
No, I'm not using any.
Oh, okay.
No. Google.
No. All right, Gene, what do you got?
You got to Google stuff to look it up, but like nothing's being created for me. No, what I got is you guys may not know this about Lonnie because it's a defunct almost technology. But let me ask this, Lonnie, when's the last time you bought a Blu-ray? A physical Blu-ray?
Last time I bought one, actually about 3 months ago, I came across one that I wanted and I bought.
Okay, so what you may or may not know, Lonnie has an extensive Blu-ray collection. He loves movies. And this one, I'm not even going to go negative on Lonnie. I love movies too, but Lonnie loves movies. He'll quote a movie and he'll look at me and he'll say, "You remember that one?" I'm like, no, I don't. And he loves movies. And so I think that All Star Movies is the perfect description of him. More than a lot of things in his life, Lottie loves movies. Not as much as he loves his friends or his family, but he loves movies. And I think it just makes sense.
Okay. Well, that was
And
actually a
and
really good.
again, it not being a value. I've stayed at value resorts with Lonnie before many times. I love them. I think he does. He's, I mean, look, he's come up in the world. He's got a DVC at a nice place, but he's not above staying at a value resort for a race or something,
Yeah.
All right. Well, it was a good explanation.
I mean, that's a perfect explanation. I mean, I'm salt of the earth, common man.
So which one are you going with, Lonnie? Who's
I'm
the
going
winner?
with Jody at the boardwalk. Let me tell you why. Because I actually, love the boardwalk. It's around Gene's favorite lake. You can't go wrong with that. And look, let me tell you something. On the weekend at the boardwalk, when the people are outside on the boardwalk, the energy, the performers are out there. I tell you, the boardwalk would be perfect if it had a restaurant there, right? Like that you didn't have like a good. Just give us something there, right? Just give us a quick service. That'll be awesome. Where you can get breakfast and stuff without, having to leave and go outside. And other than that, I think the boardwalk is me. On the weekend, I'm high energy. I'm ready to go.
All right. Okay.
Okay, John, are we finally on you?
We're saving the best for last, I guess.
Saving the best for last.
I guess let's have at it. Let's start with restaurant because I love food and I'm actually really hungry. So let's get that one out of the way and talk about restaurants. Gene, do you want to kick us off here and tell me what restaurant?
Peaches and cream. I don't have to give a reason.
I mean, they do have the kitchen sink. That's enough of a reason, I think, right there. All right, Jeff, what do you got?
I went with the Whispering Canyon Cafe. There's just constantly joking and roasting that's going on at that place. I know it's not your favorite restaurant. I know that you and Chris Walker go rounds about how wonderful and fine that is. I understand that you personally do not love the restaurant, but it fits you as a person. There's all the joking and roasting. The cast members are intentionally there to mess with you. It's got a loud family energy, which I think is perfect for your family. But it's incredibly warm-hearted. So above all that on the outside, the food is just good, solid comfort food. They get big portions. Everybody's happy. And it's basically like the sensitive teddy bear that weaponizes humor. And it's just like, it's always right there, but it's just ready to attack and hit you like the ketchup and all that. I think that's perfect for you.
Wow. At first, I thought you were just going to mess with me because you know how much I hate that restaurant. But
I understand. I knew that, but the rationale was too good to not let it ride.
Awesome. All right. That was a good choice. Jody, what do you got?
All right. So John loves shrimp, right? And he loves his hibachi, but that was just too easy to go with Tepanito. So I'm going to, John also loves all things in the Japanese pavilion. He loves, shopping there, going around there. So I'm going to call it the one that if he could eat anywhere and that really would be like his dream and where he would go would be the new Takumi Thai.
Ooh.
That is that I really want to go there. I just can't justify taking 100 kids in there for that.
Well, you can't. So
do you have to be over a certain age to go eat there?
I
Well,
that.
either way, by the time I have the money to go there, I'll be like 90. So no, that's a good choice. I do love the Japanese pavilion. You're right. All right, Lonnie, what do you think?
Yeah, you do love the Japanese pavilion, but you know what else you love? Lapu Lapus. So I am going with the Tambu Lounge because let me tell you something. When I think about John, I think about a fruity pineapple drink in a pineapple, and it's open late because John is always open, as you can tell by the 5 kids. So I'm gonna say Tambu Lounge, John.
Okay.
I bet you have a sailor hat.
Man.
I hope.
Whew.
You're going to be a
Well,
captain of the seaman too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as Lonnie said, the proof is in the pudding, I guess, as they say. Oh boy. Well, man, this is a tough one because you guys all had great takes, and unfortunately I have to go with Jeff. I think at first, like I said, I thought you were just messing with me, but you really put a lot of thought into that, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to say Jeff won that. Man, didn't think I was going to go there tonight, but I did.
Jeff, you really are putting a lot of thought into these.
I did. I worked on this all day.
I love it. All right. So I think that explanation was awesome. The food there is not to me not great, and the service is even worse because I don't like people yelling at me about ketchup because I love ketchup, and now I'm afraid to ask. But yeah, Jeff, really good choice. But no, all of them were good. This is difficult. You guys are right. But yeah, okay. So we got Jeff as a big winner there. Now let's go to resorts, and why don't we, Jody? Let's start with you for resort.
All right. Listen, I think everybody thinks of John and they think of the Poly. Of course, right? That's easy. We all know that. But does that really describe John? I don't know. So he's got 1,000,001 kids, which we also all know. And so he needs a lot of space. So then I was like, well, maybe the tree houses. That could be like, does that describe John? But I'm like, is he really a treehouse type of guy?
No.
I don't know. So then I decided John is very proud and has told us multiple times about, is it your grandmother or grandfather who's from Mexico?
My grandfather.
Grandfather from Mexico. So with that intel, I'm going with Coronado Springs.
Wow. Okay. And I did stay there recently and I loved Gran Destino Tower. So good choice, Jody. All right. Lonnie, what do you have for a resort for me?
Yeah, it's funny. Jody said that going with the Polynesian would be like the easiest thing. But hey, look, I'm going to stick with what's easy because we know John loves everything the Poly. And I can say for a fact, I know he loves the Poly because I just edited his last show and he talked about how much he loved the Poly. So with that being said, I'm going to stick with what I know turns John on, and that is the Poly.
All right. Yeah, and you're right, Lonnie. Yeah. We would have only had 4 kids if it wasn't for the Poly. So,
and guess what?
Pretty exciting.
And guess what? You can stay right on the water, right? And you have enough room in those bungalows for all the kids.
Yeah, that's true.
And possibly more if you decide to. It just,
So there we go. Perfect. I mean, the Poly it's Disney's best resort.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you think so highly of me, I guess is what I'll say.
I do.
All right, Jeff, what are you thinking?
I messed up big today. I am sorry, guys. I was originally all hard in on the Poly for John, and then I sent the clarification text today, just randomly spouting something off. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, maybe that really is the right answer. So I kind of gave up my answer earlier in the group, but we're going with the All-Star Movies, the 101 Dalmatians rooms. It's controlled chaos. John is completely controlled chaos in his home. It's loud, playful. It's never fully serious. You wonder how there are that many kids in that area because it never seems to stop. Everywhere you look, the entire place is just covered in children, and they're probably all Johns. But it's still a nice place to just stay and relax. It's just fun. It's approachable. It's self-aware. But there's just all the kids, and it's just like Pongo and Perdita. They just had all the kids. It's just, I think that really fits your dynamic. So,
Wow! Yet again, I thought you were going to go a different direction when you said All-Star Movies, but you got all heartfelt and nice about it. Man, all right, Gene, that's gonna be hard to top. What do you think?
I mean, I tried to have a reason for anything else, but I mean, like Lonnie, the easy, the obvious, nothing else fits like the Poly for you. It just doesn't. Poly just, to me, I can't think of that resort without thinking of you.
Wow, man, this is very tough. Poly is by far my favorite resort, and I do feel like it it speaks my language, if you will, with the Lapu Lapus and the Hawaiian shirts. But God, I got to go with Jeff again, and this is terrible. This is like worst case scenario for me. But I really I love the thought you put into it, and as you were describing it, I'm like, wow, that kind of does fit too. So, man, this is terrible. But I'm gonna pick Jeff again. I'm really disappointed with myself.
I mean, he's been working on stuff all day. So, I mean, literally, he said it himself.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
Forget about the people waiting to talk to him on the phone.
I told you earlier, Lonnie, if points are kept, I play to win.
I see.
I am writing down everybody, although I haven't counted anything. So, we'll see. We'll just make up that I won. All right. So we're down to the last selection for the last duck. And now we're going to pick an attraction for me. And no, Jeff, you can't say high attraction level. Okay. That's not what we're going for here. Flattery did work though for the other two. So, all right. Gene, what do you think for an attraction for John Kroll?
Yeah, so I mean, I can't think of another one that embodies you more than the tree of life because of all the life that you have propagated from, that is sprung from you. It just makes sense to me. It fits.
I mean, you're right.
Right?
When he's right, he's right.
I mean, he's cooking. Gene is cooking tonight. I don't care what you say.
All right, Lonnie, what do you got?
Well, and I put Test Track, and the reason why is because look, when I saw John doing marathon weekend at Test Track, he was in his element. I mean, cars were zooming by. I mean, he was the man on a mission. He was making a list. He was checking it twice. He was having everybody. He was the mastermind behind the scenes with the chess pieces, moving it about to make sure that everybody was taken care of. So when I think about that and think of his love for cars, I think of Test Track and I think of John.
That's a really good one, Lonnie.
I mean, I'll never look at Test Track the same again without thinking you.
Well, that's what I want. I want people to see something in their life that every time they see it, they think of me. And that makes me happy. So That's a really good one. All right, Jody, what about you? What do you got?
Well, I went with the ride that has a dad in every single scene because that's you in the scene of all your children's lives. So Carousel of Progress, because the dad is prominent and front and center, and that's you will be there throughout the stages of your many children's lives. So Carousel of Progress is.
That went much better than I thought after you said Carousel of Progress. So I was like, wow, that's where I usually take a nap, but I love it. I like the explanation.
Yep.
That's great. All right, Jeff, what do you got?
All right, I went with the Jungle Cruise, and I know that that's like the easy one to go up, but the entire attraction is ran on dad jokes, and half the experience is committed just to keep people grown. And I think that that's half your life with us, and your goal is just to make us go, oh. But underneath that, the skipper's entire role is pretending not to care, while secretly caring a lot that everybody's having fun. So the way you throw stuff out there, and the corny humor just masks your sincerity behind everything. So I'm going with the Jungle Cruise, and it's.
This is terrible. I want to quit this show now. I have to pick Jeff again.
Oh,
Man, you guys must have been. No, this is. You know what? This is fixed.
This is not.
This is fixed. Me and Gene are protesting.
Honestly, so that round, that was the toughest one, I think, for me, because like Jody, like I said, with Carousel of Progress, at first I was like, oh, that's terrible. But then when you explained it, I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. And Lonnie, like, I love that that you picked Test Track and you have good memories of hanging out there and stuff, and we had fun. So that's awesome. And then Gene, Tree of Life was funny, but also true because I have created a lot of life. But man, Jeff, I can't not pick that after that explanation. So Jeff has a clean sweep of the crawl.
Who would have? That's like the underdog story of the decade there.
It really is. Yeah. That's the one person I would have wanted to bet against. and you came through. Oh boy. But it does make sense. because we're kindred spirits, and there is a high level of attraction there. I think, mostly from you to me, but it's okay. So that was really fun, Jody. This was an excellent topic. I
So glad that I could.
loved it.
This
Yeah.
completely turned into a Comedy Central roast for everybody except for Jody.
Yes, Jody, because you can't make fun of your mom, and Jody's the group mom. So, oh man, that was really fun. And to keep the laughs going, now we're going to try to make you all quack up. So, I don't know. Man, we went to a Science Olympiad competition last week, and we're checking into the hotel, and the guy in front of me is up at the desk, and the bellhop comes over. He's like, "Sir, can I help you with your bags?" And it was a photon checking in, and he goes, "No, thanks. I'm traveling light." And then after that, go over to the bar at the hotel and was about to order a drink. And the guy next to me, there's a Neutron sitting right next to me. He orders a drink, asks the bartender how much for the drink. Guy says, "For you, no charge." Okay. Oh boy. All right, Lonnie, do you think you can quack us up?
Probably not, but I would try. Unfortunately, I have a friend of mine with a stuttering problem. Just went to prison, and I'm afraid he may never finish his sentence.
Poor guy.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Jody.
goodness gracious.
Can you follow up that one?
Yeah, so we're getting ready to go through a remodel, and I've been doing a lot of appliance shopping. So I decided to go ahead and get my best friend a new refrigerator too, because as you know, it's buy one get one 50% off. I can't wait to see her face light up when she opens it. Get it? Refrigerator.
I get it. The light we open the refrigerator.
I get it now after you explained it. Oh boy.
I bet that was hilarious, but I still can't hear Jody. It's so weird.
Oh man. All right. Jeff, can you quack us up?
Do you know why Mickey Mouse got hit with a snowball?
No.
Why?
Because Donald ducked.
Boy, that's good.
All right, Gene. You got to bring this thing home for us.
I mean, I try. I don't know. I don't have any jokes. I just tell you about what's going on. I was fishing the other day. I was fishing a pond in my neighborhood, and this game warden walked up to me and he said, "Are you fishing?" And I said, "No, man." I said, "These are my fish." And he said, "What are you talking about, your fish?" I said, "Yeah, man, I bring them from home, and I throw them in the pond, let them swim around for a while. I whistle and put the bucket in the water, and they all swim back in the bucket." And the guy said, "No way." And I said, "Yeah, really." And he said, "Let me see." So I dumped the fish in the water, and he said, "Well," and he said, "We'll call them back." And I said, "Call what back?" He said, "The fish." I said, "What fish?"
It's funny in Louisiana because you trick the game warden. But yeah, okay.
Oh, I forgot to say that he asked me if I had a license, and I said no. That would have been funnier.
Oh man. Wow. Well, speaking of licenses and legal requirements, Gene, is there anything the lawyers need to share?
Yeah, this is it's terrible. The previous episode of Disney with the Ducks was performed by highly unqualified Disney experts under loosely supervised conditions. Do not attempt to psychoanalyze your friends using Disney properties unless properly trained in sarcasm, park strategy, and emotional overinvestment in themed resorts. On this episode, John, Jeff, Jody, Lonnie, and Gene each selected a Disney resort, restaurant, and attraction that best represented the personalities of the other hosts. What began as a wholesome exercise in friendship quickly turned into a combination roast session, group therapy experiment, and unofficial personality test sponsored by caffeine and poor judgment. At various points during the episode, someone was compared to a deluxe resort because they are expensive but worth it. Someone else was described as a quick service restaurant because they peak early and close by 7. And at least one host was identified as an attraction that breaks down regularly, but still somehow has a loyal fan base. Dean would like listeners to know that he did not intentionally steer every answer toward obscure Disney details, but when you carry the burden of being the podcast's emotional support Disney adult, sometimes the facts just happen naturally. John once again treated a ridiculous game with the seriousness of an NFL draft analyst. Jeff took the scenic route to every point he made, including stories that began in 1997 and somehow ended at Epcot. Jody managed to keep the entire episode moving despite being surrounded by human distractions dressed as podcasters. And then there's Lonnie. Listeners are reminded that confidence and comedic timing are not always the same thing. Any silence following Lonnie's jokes should not be interpreted as technical difficulties. Emergency responders were not needed. Everyone was simply processing what had just happened. The show concluded with Quacking Up with the Ducks, where dad jokes were exchanged, dignity was lost. At least one cast member laughed so hard they wheezed directly into the microphone. Disney with the Ducks is not responsible for listeners suddenly assigning Disney attractions to coworkers, spouses, church members, or random strangers at Target. Please consult your physician if you begin referring to people exclusively as Big Thunder Mountain Energy. That's it. That's all they got for
All right.
us.
Well, I'm glad we had that
Just
disclaimer out.
The final score was Lonnie with 1.5, Jody with 2.5, Carl with 2, Gene with 3, and I had 6.
Whoa! Wow.
I demand
Wow.
a recount.
Yeah. Funny how the guy counting taking score wins.
Right.
Daddy,
And then,
it's daddy
yeah.
ball.
It
That's
was-
daddy
it was-
ball.
It
Cooking
was
the
a clean
books.
sweep of Carl that took me over the lead.
Yeah. Now it's even worse that I picked you for everyone.
Mhm.
You and Crawl probably gonna split the prize money.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. We're going to take the ring that he gets and sell it and split that. So it'll be great. Gosh. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening this far. If you liked what you heard, share the episode with one of your friends. Come over, join our Facebook group, Disney with the Ducks, and make sure you go out and give us a 5-star review.
If you didn't like what you heard, don't say anything.
That's true. Yeah. Then just keep it to yourself and probably, you probably just don't have a sense of humor. And that's fine.
Yep.
There's
If you
shows
don't
out
like
there.
what we said, play the quiet game with yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. And with that, the only thing left to say really is Quaharini.
Word.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
Exactly. I know Crawl does.
Yeah.
Jeff knew.
I knew what it was, of course.
Yeah, I said Gene knew. John, I knew. Jeff knew. Jody was looking at us like we were crazy.
That happens 95% of the things we say. Jody looks at us like we're crazy. But
This is also true.
if we don't start, Jody is going to murder us and cancel the show. So
We'll be on Dateline.
we need to get this thing rolling. Yeah. I don't want to be on Dateline.
You left him speechless.
Gene's not blinking or anything. I think we broke Gene.
You broke Gene.
It took this long, but we finally did it.
Poor Gene.
Well,
Oh, okay. I guess we don't get Gene's answer.
Well, I think he was coming back.
He's back. Hang on.
Oh, no.
Y'all kicked me out.
Oh wow, we got Dos Genos.
2 Genes.
Y'all kicked me out.
No,
This is
man,
the
that's
greatest
two
night of my
Genos
life.
on the screen, though, man, that's crazy.